The next person we want to have share is our Glowing Screen Award-winning company that won this award this year from us. I don't have a screen to show you on the Glowing Screen Award, but it essentially means we selected this company for two big reasons: awesome tech, and secondly, a remarkable change in the course of this past year in terms of and additionally innovating their company's products and their company. Big growth from these guys. So I'm excited to have you welcome Gail Kinkelkamp, who's the VP of Inside Sales from ClassLink. And I'm going to pass her the screen and have her do this lunch and learn half hour with you and share everything that they've been doing and what their technology is doing, because there's been a lot of innovation there. Very proud of you guys, Gail. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. Really appreciate being a part of today's lunch. Can you guys see my screen all right?
Yep, we can. And you're going to have me go on mute now and stop video. And Doug is taking over behind the scenes right now to support you. But it's all over to you,
Perfect.
Gail. Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much. All right, welcome everyone. I'm here to show you a little bit about ClassLink. We are a company known for our single sign-on, but we do so much more than that. We have robust usage analytics and rostering, and we also do account provisioning. So I'm going to dive into each of the pieces. This is everything that we do. We also have a public and parent portal. So I have a short amount of time, so I'll try to touch on all of them for you. And if you have any interest in a demo for your team, you can certainly contact us and we can set that up for you. So this won't be a slideshow. I just have a few I'm going to refer to, and then I'm going to jump right into the demo because I really want you to see it. There are lots of ways to sign in to ClassLink. So I wanted to point this out because we have multi-factor, which is becoming more and more important. We have had so many districts contact us about their cyber insurance and them requiring the district to use multi-factor in order to renew your insurance. So I wanted you to know that's available through ClassLink, and it can be to get into the ClassLink portal, or it can be just on certain resources within the portal, which usually makes more sense. We also can include a password reset if you choose to log in with AD. We can do quick cards for your little ones. So just with our login, we solve an awful lot of issues. We have got 6,000 single sign-on connections already built, so we can single sign-on into anything. If you buy something new, we'll build it. We're very flexible, and it's because we use all these methods of authentication. So depending upon the vendor, it goes by what the vendor requires. It could be a SAML, an OAuth, an LTI. We can do it all. So I'm going to jump into the demo and let you see what the screen looks like when you have a single sign-on, which is what I'm showing you here. But before that, you have to log into ClassLink. So we customize that login page and brand it for your district. So this is Atlanta, Georgia. As you see, they don't even call it ClassLink. They call it My Backpack. That's fine with us. You can call it whatever you want. And they log in with their network, Google, and they log in with quick cards. This is Plano ISD in Texas. They have a big balloon fest every year, so they use a picture of that. This is one of my favorites, Pasco, Florida, because they use their sweet little kiddos' faces with parent permission. We'll even, let me see if I've got, I was going to show you a one that we draw. Here we go. We have a graphic artist as well, so we'll draw something if you need us to. Leander ISD outside of Austin, they call it Leander Launchpad, so we do a rocket ship for them. So that's all customizable. So kiddos log in, teachers log in. For your little ones, we can log in with quick cards. So let me start that over. That video just jumped in before I even got a chance. So what happens with the quick cards is the student holds up their card. This example is a Chromebook. It is logging the student into the Chromebook and then launching ClassLink. So if you think about your kindergarten, your first grade, your second grade, I actually taught, the lowest grade I ever taught was third grade, and I used it first semester, third grade, because the kids knew their username and password, but they do not have command of the keyboard, right? So their fingers are searching everywhere trying to find their letters, and I just wanted to get the lesson started, right? So I just weaned them off. But once you're in, this is an example of what a login screen would look like. I have an awful lot of digital resources here because it's a demo, but the screen is based on who you are. So if you're a second grader, maybe you only have 3 resources because that's all second graders use. If you're in high school, whole different set. If you are a teacher, a whole different set. So when I'm ready to launch Discovery, I click on it. It opens in a new tab, and I'm in. There was no username. There was no password. I go back to my Launchpad, and I launch Canvas. Same thing. I'm in. Those 2 tabs are right here, and kids can go back and forth between them. You also can put things like library resources. So these are those databases. They're usually on your website, right? They're expensive. They're paid for by the librarian's budget usually, but they require a username and password. And from my experience, kids never know what that is. So they just Google everything. So if you have these library resources here, the students can get into those as well without putting any username and password in. And then they're using those great databases that you want them to use, and not Google and not Wikipedia. You also can do things like HR links. So if you want teachers to be able to look at their pay stubs and not have to go through HR or go through your website, it can go right here. They can look at their health insurance. The goal is to make ClassLink the one-stop shop so that everything's in one place. I have my G Suite in a folder. You can put your office in a folder. This bully report form is just a Google form. So if you have a form that you want teachers or students to fill out for anything, that can go here as well. When I taught, I had a folder for my curriculum. So in it was my scope and sequence, my vertical alignment, my standards, and all my resources. So on Sunday afternoon, when I did my lesson plans, I opened that folder and everything was there. It's lovely. Also, while I'm here, you can increase and decrease the text size. So if you need to make it bigger, you can. And high and light contrast. So if you have some SPED kiddos that need that, you can do that as well. Now, also, you can, we put a new piece in called My Classes. So I really want to show you that. We connect to your student information system. So Power School, Infinite Campus, School Tool, whatever you use, this piece is called My Classes. When I click on it, as a teacher or a student, it opens up my class schedule. I'm showing it to you right now from a teacher's view. So this is my first period class, very imaginary because there's only 6 students in it. Wouldn't that be nice? All right, so what we're doing here is I can post an announcement to my kids' classes. I also can be a part of a discussion thread. So if I post a problem to the kids, they can discuss it. I also can look at their logins. So you can imagine how important this was during the pandemic, right? But think now if you have a snow day, the kids are going virtual. You can see who's logged in each day. We'll go back and get a prior week, maybe so we can see more check marks. So if you're looking right here, I can see that Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, this student didn't log in. So that's a phone call I'm going to make. If you click on the activity button, this shows how long they were on. And if I click on that, I'm going to see what they were in and for how long. Let me see if I can find one with more information for you. I never know, they change all the time. But you can see it's all the things the kids click on and how long they spent on it. So if I had assigned reflex math to my students and I needed them to get on it for 10 minutes, I can look and see, was everybody there? I can tell that they were not. We also have this button called apps. This is where you can take something and add it right to your students' pages in that class. So let's say we were doing a test review on Friday and I'm doing the review in Kahoot. I don't want them to go out to Kahoot's website. I'm just going to put it on their page. I can do that by adding the new app. I also can, when I click this, add my own. So that would be, let's say, we're studying Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech. I'm going to go get the soundbite, and I'm going to put it right here. I'm going to call this MLK speech. Then I'm going to send a note to the kids to say, listen, I need you to listen to this several times, take some notes, we're discussing it on Thursday. When we're finished, I can just remove that from their pages. So it gives the teacher the ability to add things to the kids' pages and enhance their lessons. Now, where all that's coming from is on my launch page, we have this button called App Library. So most districts vet this. They'll put things in the teacher library. So Kahoot might be in here. If you need to use it, grab it. You can have a K4 library. You can have one that's just tools. So maybe there's graphing calculators in there, things like that, that are digital in case a student loses theirs or leaves it at home. So that's available, and that can be turned on or off. And there are limited editing. The kids can change the shape of the icons, things like that, but not too much because we don't want that to be the focus. We want it just to be where you go get your tools. All right, the next piece I want to show you is the analytics. So I'm going to go in as an administrator, and I'm going to pull that up for you. So this is on the back end now. We're looking at what your tech director would see, your curriculum director would see, and you can parse out permissions for this as well. So I'm going to start with the logins. First thing it's going to show you is everything you ever wanted to know about logging in. So if you're the tech director, you're going to see everything that's important to you about logging in. If you use us for a period of time, we give you a 3-year history. We also do logins per hour, unique users. You can change these dates. We give you 6 preset calendars, but there's a custom range here, so you can put in any dates that you want. We also show you logins outside of school hours. This became really important when kids were working from home, especially for districts that were providing hotspots. You needed to know when you needed those. You also can take your schools and put them side by side and compare them. So if I hover over, I'm going to see how many kids and teachers are logged in at any school. And then as I scroll down, these are the digital resources that they're using in order of greatest to least. So where we see this used the most is curriculum directors. So if you get test scores back and one school spikes way higher than the others, sometimes you can look here and see, is there some resource that they're using that the other 2 schools are not? Then you can also go into the apps themselves. So what I'm showing you here is everything the district uses in order of greatest to least. If I reverse that count, what I'm going to get is the resources that you have that nobody's using. So if you bought some software and you're paying for it to be renewed every year and nobody's using it, this will tell you. It will also tell you maybe you have something new and curriculum wants the teachers to use it, but they're not. Maybe they don't know how. So then that can drive your staff development. But either way, this gives you a lot of good information. So let me go back because I want to show you that you can dig into each of these individually. So if I go into Reflex Math, this can tell me everything about just Reflex Math. So all my logins, my time spent per day, my top users. But one of the pieces, two pieces that are important here are the goals. So every district has software where the vendor has said, if you want to see the results that we're saying you'll see, it has to have a certain amount of usage. So if you put the goal in here, like Reflex Math, you have to use it every day till you get the green light. Depending upon the student, that takes anywhere from 10 to 14 minutes. So if you put a 14-minute goal in here, we'll track it for you. We'll tell you, are the kids getting on every day and using Reflex Math? You can also put the cost in it. So if you tell us how many licenses you bought, what did you pay, was there professional development costs incurred, and the subscription end date, in the cost button, we'll remind you when your subscription's about to end, and we will also tell you, this is how many licenses you bought, this is how many are being used. So when it's time to renew, you can really tighten up those numbers. This is where you can really save some money, right? So good thing to know here. Now, we just added a new piece called Analytics Plus. So if you go into that, it looks just like what we just did, although the difference is it's going to show domains. So you can show domains that kids go to, so you'll see this is tracking all clicks on school-managed devices, so not only through the ClassLink portal. Some districts already have software that does that, but if you don't, you can add this piece, and we can help you with that. All right, so I've got enough time, I think, to talk about rostering really quickly. So let's do that, and then account provisioning. So rostering can be such a big headache for districts. And typically we'll hear that kids aren't getting access to their digital resources sometimes for a month into the school year because somebody is doing that rostering manually. So what we do is we use this one roster standard, open standard, it's free, was developed by these big school book publishers who went to IMS Global and said, help us with this. We've got to get a way to get these digital textbooks out to kids quickly. So this is what some of you may be this person doing the rostering. But what we do is put this nice server in the middle, use that one roster standard, and just make that an automatic roster. So let me show you what that looks like. All right, let me go back to my dashboard, and here's our roster server. Okay, so it's going to open first in a dashboard, and it's going to show us how many applications we're rostering out to how many schools, courses, classes, enrollments. It's going to show us recent access and API calls. So the first thing you do with rostering is you import your rosters from your SIS. And this file right here, these files are the one roster standard. So this is what we're pulling. Academic sessions, orgs, courses, classes. Demographics can be turned off. Most vendors do not need that. It's really only testing data that usually needs that testing software. So that one can be turned off. So once those are pulled, then we're going to tell the roster server who gets what. So if you just bought, let's just pick on something. I don't know what any of these are. Here we go. If you just picked 9 dots, I'm not sure what 9 dots is, but we'll do that one. I see it a lot, though, so I know schools use it. What you're going to do first, sorry, my internet is very slow today. If it went out to everyone in the district, everybody gets 9 dots, you click full permissions. Although most software, that's not how it works. So we're going to do custom permissions. So you would go pick the schools. So you can pick all your elementaries. You can search. So you can pick all your elementaries, all your middle schools, all your high schools. So I'm going to pick a school, any school. And then once I've picked my school, I go into my courses. And I say, who's going to get this? So let's say it goes to algebra students. And that's all. So I'm going to pick my Algebra 1 kiddos and save. So what that means then is every student that in your SIS is rostered into Algebra 1 will now get an account set up in 9 dots. So they're ready to go. And then it puts the little icon on their launch page. So that can be done granular as well. Like that was an easy one because it's all algebra kids. But what if it's Brain Pop and Brain Pop Junior and it's just going to K and 1? You can do that by classes. So you just pick your kindergarten classes and your grade 1 classes. Roles would be teachers. Let's say for ASOP. They're going to put in for subs, only goes to teachers. You can go down by user. So if your SPED department bought some software, let's say for dyslexia students, it's in their IEP, they all need access, you can just pick those 15 students. So once you go back to the apps, if you've told the roster server who gets what, then here on the side is the API key and secret if it's going over REST API, and it will be encrypted, or you can export the settings SFTP if they don't accept REST API. So this is a 1-hour kickoff call with us. We teach you how to do it, several calls afterwards till everything is rostered. And then the next piece I want to show you before I run out of time, because it all ties in together, is OneSync. So let me explain what that is. So OneSync is a server that sits on-prem because it connects to your AD. We can host the roster server. We host with AWS, and they charge us $500 a year for a user. For a server, for a small district, they charge us $9.95 for a large, and we pass that on to you. There's no upcharge. So OneSync, your server, pulling from your SIS. If you have HR in a separate database, we can pull from there. There's an ODBC to show you we can do that as well. Then we will write, OneSync will write your AD, Google, and Azure accounts. So the big picture is, a student comes into your district and is entered into your SIS. OneSync sees that new student, sets up their accounts at the next sync. The roster server says, oh, we have a new AD and a Google account. Let's see who that is. It's Billy Davis. He's in Mrs. Smith's 4th grade class. Those students all get these 5 resources. So roster server rosters them in, sets up his launch page. So within 24 hours of the student entering your school district, he's digital and ready to go. Then the beauty is when the rosters roll over in the summer, your 6th graders become 7th, your 10th graders become 11th, etc. They're taken out of the 7th grade resources and they're rostered into 8th grade resources. So that rollover is beautiful in the summer and you're not starting over. It's all tied together. We also have, I think I have about 2 more minutes, a parent portal and a public portal. So let me just give you a little peek at what that is. Public portal is for you to be able to show your parents and the public everything your kiddos are using and to be transparent. Some states require this. So if a parent clicks on ABC Mouse We've attached the privacy policy. You can attach your own data sharing policy if you have one with ABC Mouse. We explain the grades that are used, the school that's using it. It's for English language arts, etc. So that is the public portal. And then we have a parent portal as well. So we can set up your parents to have a single sign-on. You don't have to connect their single sign-on. They put their username and login and password in one time, and we save it. But that is nice because they can also, we have a mobile app. So parents can have ClassLink on their phone. They can go into the SIS and look at grades. They can put money on the kids' school lunch accounts, all of those kind of things. Very popular with parents. Okay, I'm going to stop for a second in case there's any questions.
Okay, I'm watching for questions for you, Gail. Why don't you finish what you want to do, and then I will have a question for you.
Okay.
Really pertaining to your glowing screen award. But why don't you go ahead and finish whatever you want to do, and then I'm watching for questions for you.
Perfect. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about is security and privacy, because this is awfully important. So the top of this slide is what all vendors do. It's the very minimum. That's the minimum we have to do. Where ClassLink goes above and beyond is right here at the bottom. So we've completed all of these audits. That SOC 2 audit was a 2-year audit. We also hire the same hackers that Wall Street does for internal and external penetration testing, and we do it 4 times a year. And we carry $15 million in cyber insurance. So I want you to feel good about security. We're very security conscious. And then I'll give you, we do the multi-factor options. I'll put that up for just a second so that you can see that. We are working on, I believe it's Denver, Colorado, has asked us to create, they're going to use YubiKeys for their finance department, Soup's office, Assistant Soup's, for their computers. So we are now able to do that as well. All right, LeiLani, I think I am finished.
Yeah, well, that was awesome. So I'm inviting everybody that's on the line right now. If you want to ask a question of ClassLink, please go ahead and feel free to do that. You can just type it into and I can read it out, or we can unmute you, or however you want to play. But just with regards to, choosing ClassLink over, a tremendous number of other companies that are in the field right now, I think our number one reason, Gail, was really because you continue to innovate all through the pandemic, and you did some pretty awesome things. So do you want to talk about some of those new things that have come down the pike, and kind of also what's on the future roadmap for ClassLink, so people can understand why you're a glowing screen award winner?
Certainly. What really set us apart was the My Classes section in ClassLink. We just had so many districts talk to us about how they needed to be able to see what students were doing. Teachers needed to be able to take attendance besides looking on their Zoom call. They want to see what the kids are doing at home. So we got that up and running within weeks. We have a huge development team, and they're so innovative, and they're so young and so brilliant. And so they all just, it was all hands on deck, right? And so that was up and running quickly. We pushed it out to all the districts, and then we did a quick webinar on how to use it, what it looks like, and then we recorded that webinar and pushed that out to everybody in case they weren't able to jump on live. So that was important to get that done. And, now we're really focusing on multi-factor because that's becoming so important. And we realized how important it is with so many districts that were held up for ransom. We had Haverhill, Massachusetts was the recipient of a ransom attack, and they didn't miss a beat because they had ClassLink, and kids were still able to keep going. So that's becoming more and more important to us. We want to make sure that your resources are secure and your kids' data within those resources are secure. And then then we added the Analytics Plus too, because we did have districts saying to us, we have something that's doing that now, but we want it all, one company doing it all. We don't want to deal with so many different companies, so that's why we added that. But we have left it optional. Everything else comes with ClassLink. It's all together. You get it all.
Awesome. Well, those are really significant innovations in a time of need, and I really want to thank you. I'm going to have you stop sharing. I'm going to share my screen again and take it back in control. And everyone that's on the line, if you want to ask them questions, feel free. I'm sure, Gail, you're going to stay on for a little while. Listen to a lot of these other awesome EduJedi winner presentations today. So Doug, I need to share content back again, introduce my next speakers. Thank you. Thank you, Gail. You're awesome. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Tell everyone over there. Very proud of all of you guys, everyone over there. Okay, so that was Gail from ClassLink.